Yo, I Respectfully Disagree podcast. Back with another quick episode. Shout out to anybody that joins the Facebook Live. I just hit the live feature. To those that are new to the channel, welcome. If you're not already following, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Highly appreciate it. Highly recommend it. Road to 500 continues. I'm at like 440, so slowly getting there. So shout out to the new subscribers that has joined the channel in the last couple of days. But it's Friday, man. Men's USA basketball has lost again. So today's topic is, I ain't even gonna say it's a topic, just me kind of ranting, venting for a moment in terms of, is this another example of the arrogance from the United States in terms of sports? I know we like to hang our hat on the 92 Dream Team and all this and that, and how the United States has always dominated the rest of the world in competitive sports, but the rest of the world is catching up. And I want to touch on that, here for a moment. Like I said, basketball is one of my favorite sports. I ain't going to say one of. Basketball is my favorite sport. Eat, sleep, and drink basketball. So I had some choice words when they lost the other day to, I believe it was Lithuania. Me and my brother-in-law, shout out to my brother Rick, we always get together and talk about basketball and things like that. And I was giving my perspective then. And you thought, okay, they still got a chance. They can go win, get gold, first place, World Cup. But sure enough, they lost today to Germany. So I want to touch on that. But before I get started, last night, Detroit Lions beat the Kansas City Chiefs opening night for NFL. So a few takeaways that I have from that, sitting down watching that game. The first is Travis Kelce. We all knew he was a valuable piece to that puzzle, even more so than Tyreek Hill in a sense. They were able to go back and win another Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. And in my opinion, that showed that, Kelce was maybe a little bit more valuable. But not having him on the field last night was like, okay. Like, Kansas City might be in trouble if he's not able to get back on that field at 100% anytime soon. And you don't want to rush him back out there, which could lead to, an even more serious injury, especially when you're dealing with knees and at the tight end position. He's going to, come through with a lot of contact, whether it's coming across the middle, a lot of blocking schemes and things like that. So he's a very valuable piece to that puzzle. But I don't know if I put all of that on Mahomes last night because, man, it was a lot of guys on that field that I had no idea who they even were. And Mahomes was putting the ball where it needed to be, and you got Tony. It was like, I don't think I've seen that, and I get it. I think they said that he hadn't been a participant in training camp and practices and things like that, and that's a rough way to start, man, because he was getting some boos out there last night, and to me, they were very much deserved. Like, okay, early in the game, cool, you drop a couple of passes, no problem. But now it's crunch time, and every first down is important. And every time he hit that man in the numbers in that ball, it was almost like Mahomes was throwing bricks at that dude, man. It was like you almost felt bad for him. But at the same token, it's like they're gonna need some better pieces, particularly in my opinion, the running back position. It's like I get it, you just kind of run by committee, whatever. Pacheco, whatever his name is, to me he's a important piece, or he could be, but it's they're so focused on passing the ball to where he's not getting enough touches, and then you bring in Clyde Edwards, whatever his name is. And it's like, he's not in the game long enough to build a rhythm, get in flow. So it's like, damn, like, what do you do? Shout out to my guy Sneed, though, man. Like I said, I know it's Friday, it's early. People are still at work or doing whatever they're doing, picking kids up from school. But I just wanted to get this off my mind real quick. But it's like, is this also a reflection of teams paying their quarterbacks this large amount of money? Shout out to Cincinnati. It looks like Joe Burrow got the bag, but it's like, okay, in the next year or two, you ain't gonna be able to pay anybody else. So is that symptoms of what Kansas City is dealing with right now when you look at their receiving core, in terms of it's just a bunch of mediocre guys out there? And then you got, Chris Jones holding out. He's trying to get paid. So what do you do? It's like, is this going to be the new trend with all of these teams that's paying these quarterbacks these historical contracts? It's like, all right, that's cool. But then in 2 years, when it's time to pay Chase, you know what I'm saying? It's time to, re-up on Mixon and all of those guys, Higgins. Are you going to have another Kansas City situation? Because I honestly feel like Kansas City, they're going to need another piece or two. Because you can't solely rely on Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? He's getting up there in age. And who's he going to throw the ball to? So, anyways, shout out to the Detroit Lions, though, man. Like, they didn't look impressive, but they definitely have something to build on, in my opinion. They have a lot of nice weapons. Seems like Goff is slowly starting to settle in. That first year, he just looked like a deer in headlights, but now, you know what I'm saying, he looks like he's starting to settle down. And then them adding Montgomery from Chicago, I think that was huge. Running back leadership before they passed the torch to I think it's Gibbs that they picked up. But that division might be tough, man. Nobody's picking Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. The Bears are still trying to figure things out. You don't know what team is going to show up this year. And then that leaves Minnesota. Minnesota's kind of hit or miss. They got rid of Dalvin Cook. So without Dalvin Cook, you really don't know what that offense is going to look like this year, unless it's just going to be constant airing the ball out. And at that point, do you trust Kirk Cousins to try to go out and put 300 yards up every week? You know what I'm saying? Eventually, somebody's going to have to stop Jefferson. After the year he had last year, it's like teams are going to be geared up towards him, and I get it. He's a monster. Almost to the point to where even if you double team him, he's still going to find a way to get the ball. But without a veteran running back, is Minnesota really going to be a legit threat for that division? So who knows, man? Detroit might shock some people, man. But anyway, real quick, man. Basketball, man. When I first saw this roster, I said to myself, like, whose idea was this? So I got the roster pulled up here on my laptop here, and I'm looking at Brandon Ingram. What's your boy from Duke? Paulo Ranchero, whatever his name is. Look like old buddy Kessler, Bobby Portis, Jackson. Looking at Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Brunson, Anthony Edwards, the kid from the Pacers, and then Austin Reeves. And I'm saying to myself, it's like, is this a situation where the star players is like, man, I heard Jimmy Butler make a comment and was like, I don't care about the World Cup or nothing like that. So my first question when I saw the roster was like, where is your Tatums? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Booker. I get it. I saw DeAndre Ayton. I think he's, with the Bahamas. Of course, Luka, played for his home team, things like that. But in terms of stars from the United States, it's like this is the team that we could come up with. Like, no disrespect to these guys or whatever, but I'm like, if you going up against the rest of the world, this ain't it. Like, you can look at it from a size standpoint as well as look at it from just scoring or athletic ability. It's like this team doesn't stand out in terms of athleticism, in my opinion. And for those that disagree or agree, let me know in the comments. Like, how do y'all feel about this roster that they put together to compete for the World Cup? And that's why I feel like that's the arrogance from the United States that thinks that, hey, we can just put anything out there and we're going to go dominate. And I feel like a lot of people keep wanting to, hang their hat on the dream team. But like I was telling my brother-in-law, it's like that shows you how the game today has changed, because you can get away with this in the NBA playing small ball. Go out there, get up and down, jack up a bunch of shots. Cool. But now you playing against the rest of the world, and they still utilize big men, 7-footers, strong big men, take you down under the rim and dominate. And I feel like that's where Team USA suffered, because a lot of these games, man, they was playing from behind. They was getting killed on the glass. Shout out to Rose on the live. This roster is crap. You facts. Super facts. Straight facts. Like, I don't even know who signed off on that, or if this was a situation where they didn't get enough interest from, some of your marquee players. And of course, I get it. Guys like Steph, KD, especially KD. KD done been through this run. So in terms of him having any interest, it's like, nah, if I can spend the off season working on, getting healthy, building chemistry with some of the new pieces that they brought down there in Phoenix, then that's where his focus is, or just getting rest. So it's just one of them things, or is it like, okay, will the real stars come out for the Olympic Games? And this is just what we had to deal with. But it's like, I still feel like, in my opinion, it shows, the arrogance of the United States, and it shows that I feel like, again, strictly my opinion, if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. I can hit the button. I feel like this shows you that the game of basketball, in terms of the United States, is slowly falling behind. And I want to clarify that statement from my perspective. We're in a social media era where the only thing that matters is highlight plays. As long as I can break somebody's ankles or dunk on somebody, that's going to carry me everywhere I need, especially at the high school level or the collegiate level, because that's all you see now. All it takes is one viral video of somebody jumping out of the gym, and then before you know it, it's going to get shared 1 million times, and then this kid is going to start getting college offers and things like that, and you don't even know whether or not he can actually play the game of basketball as it's designed to be played, with 4 other people on the court running the offense, scoring points to try to beat your opponent. And that's what we're basing everything on now in the United States. If you look at some of the young stars that we thought, you know what I'm saying, your Zions and things like, man, we knew who Zion was when he was in the 7th, 8th grade, solely based off the fact that you're talking about a kid that's over 200 pounds and jumping out of the gym, and he's treating his opponents like little rag dolls, which technically that's what he was supposed to do. But then you're getting these kids that go into college for only 1 year. They might average 12 to 15 points, and then you throw their name in the draft, and then you get out there with grown men or your veterans, and now they just look average. They just look mediocre. But yet, guess what? Based off potential, all these endorsement deals are already at their doorstep. You got the shoe deal. You got the Gatorade, Powerade commercials. You got all of that, and you haven't necessarily earned it. So now there's no motivation to get better. Again, Zion, shout out to him. He's still young. I saw some pictures. It looked like he done lost a ton of weight. So hopefully this season he can bounce back. But it's like he's either been injured. It ain't no he's either been injured. That's what it is. His whole NBA career has been marked with injuries and being overweight. So you don't really know what his full potential is going to be. And you're talking about this is his, 4th or 5th season? So you rule him out from being possibly on this team. If Zion was healthy, you would hope or you would assume that he would have been on this team. You think about your Ja Morant. He came in the same draft as Zion. Young, superstar. Should have been out there on this team. So is this a situation where it's, lack of interest, or they had a specific set of players that they were trying to go after or whatever? Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. It's like the talent. Ja Morant got his own shoe deal. Kudos to him. But in terms of leadership, the face of a franchise, there's still a question mark there based off of his actions off the court. So that's what I'm saying. So when you start comparing some of your previous teams, such as the Dream Team and things like that was a special group of men that came together. They already possess the star power. They already possess the knowledge of the game. And they were able to put it together in jail. Where now you just taking a bunch of random people. Like, these parts do not fit. And I saw where, Brandon Ingram was upset because, he was only averaging like 5 points. And you talking about a 30-point scorer in the NBA. So that in its own self shows you, like, a lot of people talk about the game is easier, the NBA soft, they don't play defense, and it's like, and then like, hey, it's hard to argue that now, because now when you put these players up against some of the other talent, across the rest of the world, they're struggling. Brandon Ingram don't look like Brandon Ingram. And, what I'm saying, your boy Banchero or whatever his name is, like, don't get me wrong, he's a decent player, but he's too young. Like, why is he even on this roster? What has he done to earn a spot on this roster? Bobby Portis, he's a solid, role player, but to represent the United States, like,
I disagree.
Nah. Josh Hart,
I disagree.
Don't get me wrong, man. Austin Reeves, he's an energy guy, in my opinion. He's rising to becoming a solid NBA player. But in terms of representing Team USA, how do we get all the way to this point? Or I give you one better. Hell, Anthony Davis, in my opinion, should have had his ass out there. Who knows? He still might. Like I said, we got to figure out what team they're going to take to the Olympics at this point, because this right here ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Tatum, where's Tatum? Where's Brown? Like, come on now. So is this a sense of, Again, like I said, no interest. There's no pride to put on that jersey, that uniform, and represent the United States. Like, what's the deal with what we're sending over there? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, talent-wise, it don't live up to it. But back to what I was saying real quick, because I got off track. I was talking about playing small ball in the NBA. To me, in my opinion, the NBA has become entertainment. So, yeah, small ball is cool. Get up and down, put up a bunch of points, jack up a bunch of threes, get some fast break dunks and things like that to get the crowd involved, get the crowd excited. But in terms of strategically playing basketball, it don't fit with the rest of the world. So, like I said, you get a situation where you got guys that's being punished down low, guarding people that they have no business trying to guard. I saw Austin Reeves getting put in a blender down on the box. It wasn't nothing he could do. And I think he fouled out that game or was in foul trouble, because now you got him trying to guard post players. Like, bro, like, it makes zero sense. And I don't care if you put Tyronn Lue, Steve Kerr, Spoelstra, and use their veteran, coaching abilities and things like that. If you don't have the talent, it's meaningless. So going back to the Dream Team real quick, and then I'm going to be done. It's like, what made that team special was you had skilled players for every position. Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Chris Mullins. I think Mullins was on that team. Stockton, Magic, Bird. So no matter who got tired, no matter what happened, you had a player that could replace a player for his position. Where now they trying to go out here with undersized forwards, no center, undersized point guards. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Brunson can score. He's solid at the NBA level. But it's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Bridges is solid. But are you really taking them to war with you when you trying to go represent the country? Like, nah, man. Like, it makes zero sense. And it started showing its face when that Allen Iverson team lost. Everybody wants to throw out the memes and things like that and blame those young studs from the 03 class, Bron and Melo. But they wasn't getting minutes like that for real. The veterans on that team was Iverson, Duncan, all them dudes. And those were your superstars at that time period. But for whatever reason, it just didn't gel. Marbury. So it's like, why do people feel like you can just put a bunch of random guys on a team? If they're not team players for their actual team that they represent in the NBA, what makes you think they're going to come together and be a team to represent the United States? Selfish players in the league are going to be selfish players on the biggest stage in the world. And then it's like, okay, man, they had to go get Kobe to go back and get the medal and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's very much true. Kobe was a huge difference maker on the Redeem team because he brought that mindset. Like, I'm not here to BS around. Like, this is business, and we're going to treat it as such. So who on this team has got that mindset? At one point, people criticized Anthony Edwards for not eating the right foods, or he just kind of has this nonchalant attitude. Yes, he's an athlete. He can hoop. But it's like, in my opinion, you're not even getting his full potential in a sense. Like, he's just out here playing. Like, I feel like Anthony Edwards still has another level that he can take his game to. And hopefully this season we'll see that. Because playing on this team, You know what I'm saying? He became the face of this team in a sense to where they was looking at him to carry them. But at the end of the day, based on experience, those shoes was obviously too big to fill. Because like I said, a lot of these games, they were playing from behind from the jump. So it ain't like, oh, this was a fluke or shocker that they lost. No, they were struggling. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know, Kobe, Bron, D Wade, Dwight Howard, Bosh, you know what I'm saying? Like, great talent. But it took them going through all of that before they finally figured it out. And they went on and took care of business. Even that team that they had with Kevin Durant. It's like, oh, for a minute there, you know what I'm saying? They didn't really dominate the way the United States used to dominate in the past. So is that a sign that the rest of the world is catching up? Or is that a sign that the United States has fell off? That's the question that I want to leave with everybody. So y'all let me know in the comment section, man. Like, which one is it? Has the world caught up or has the United States fell off? Because if you look at it across the board, in my opinion, it's like even at the college level, it's like you don't really have a lot of standout kids the way you did back in the day. Everybody's leaving early, so you don't even see them develop. And then they get to the league, and then they're lost in the shuffle. There's a lot of kids that left the University of Kentucky. I feel like they left too early. The kid, Ty, I felt like he had a lot of intangibles in terms of being a great guard. He could shoot. I felt like he understood the game. He just needed to develop from a physicality standpoint. He wasn't a high flyer or nothing like that. So it's like, okay, you put your name in the NBA, then you have to stand out as a scorer because he wasn't an above the rim player. And it's like, okay, I don't even know where he's at now. You look at the kid from UCLA, played out there with Bronny and them, light-skinned kid, left-handed. Amani Bates, I think that was his name. Hold on. Let's see here. Or was it Bailey? Yeah, Amari Bailey. To me, he was another, you know what I'm saying, freak athlete. And you go to school 1 year, didn't really stand out for real in my opinion. And then boom, you put your name in the draft. I'm thinking about your boy Bates. Imani Bates. Been following this kid since he was young. Instagram sensation. And then boom, you get into some issues in Memphis, transfer to Eastern Michigan, put your name in the draft, you drop all the way down to like 40-something pick. Now you lost in the shuffle, but guess what? Because we pumped these kids' heads up thinking that they were internet famous, now you kind of don't have that drive anymore. Shout out to Mikey Williams. He's got some issues going on in the world. You don't even know if he's going to be able to play collegiate ball right now. There was another kid that we've been watching him jump and dunk on people since he was in the 8th or 9th grade. And now that it's actually time for him to prove himself at the next level, he's out here pistol whipping people. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, where is the hunger to get better? Where is the hunger to achieve excellence? But guess what? He's already paid. He got a shoe deal. He's signed with Puma and things like that. It's like you paying these kids based off of how much money you think they can bring you as a company instead of setting a standard saying that, guess what? Hard work pays off. So you keep getting better, devoting time to your craft, and we're going to be sitting here waiting to give you everything that you deserve and everything that you've earned. So that's going to be the thing. Like, what's going to be the incentive to make these players continue to play and get better? And then you won't have to deal with the rest of the world catching up. And some people is like, oh, this is an embarrassment to the United States, blah, 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 blah. But then in reality, it's like, maybe these are the wake-up calls that we need. But anyways, man, I'm getting ready to jump off here, man. Again, the road to 500. Y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching this, hit the thumbs up. If you're listening to it, hit the thumbs up. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Coming up with some ideas for some fall merch. Shout out to my guy Alex. He hit me up from back home asking me was I going to do anything, and trying to figure out some different ideas, you know, in terms of maybe hoodies, crew necks, might even do sweats. I don't know, but that's one of them things where it's like, okay, I'm investing time, I'm investing money into it. So if y'all really going to be serious about it, then let me know. Otherwise, I can't keep sitting here putting money behind T-shirts and things like that. And then people are like, hey, I want one. And then when it's time to pay up, people back out on me. So then I'm stuck with it. And like I said, at that point, I'm losing money when the goal is only to grow the podcast. I'm not here to try to be no fashion designer and things like that. It's just, hey, here's some merch, trying to grow the podcast, support the homies, and see where it goes. So like I said, man, y'all hit that thumbs up, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. And until we meet again, we out.
Ass toasted, no competition. I'm Nisha Coasting. I feel so